I resent her. I envy her youth, her success, her relationship, her friends, her beauty, her confidence, her intelligence, her talent. She's a celebrity, a public figure, an influencer, an acquaintance, a friend, a family member, or a stranger in the street. I've had this shameful covetous feeling go as far as desiring that the person would lose something to compensate for the excessive blessings they seem to have. I know you have too, as we all have. It's human nature, and it's great, as so much growth and blessing can stem from there, if you let it. Hi, I'm Lena, and welcome to a new episode of Women, where I explore finding truth, balance, and grace for all the lovely ladies out there. If you're young or feeling lost in this big life, I gotcha. I publish on the 1st and 15th of every month. Today, let us wrestle with this hurtful feeling of envy and jealousy. We use the terms envy and jealousy interchangeably, but they are a bit different. Merriam-Webster Dictionary puts it best, as it says, envy is the painful or resentful awareness of an advantage enjoyed by another, joined with a desire to possess the same advantage. It is hate, fueled by the desire, the craving of someone's possession, which could be physical or moral. Jealousy, on the other hand, is hostility toward a rival, zealous vigilance in guarding a possession. It is protecting our belongings and seeing them at risk of being stolen. Most of us envy what we don't have, rather than fear for what we have. But it all stems from the common ground that something taken is not available anymore to others, that there is limited supply and you miss the train or you have to hold on to it. And approaching this problematic requires to understand that there are two parts. There is you, why you feel this way, and them, what they have that makes you feel this way. Knowing this, we can then more wisely take action to change this feeling into inspiration and into gratitude. First, there's a part of you that suffers, that is hurt, that struggles, that causes this feeling to grow inside. And there are several reasons for that. The first is that there are few spots under the light, and they're all occupied. Like big tech are in an industry where it's quite difficult to get in. You need lots of resources, reputation. When you're a newcomer, it seems that you've arrived too late, or that it is too difficult for you to reach the same level of service, of capabilities, of experience, and of skills. And what it all tells is that you're not capable. It's already too big. It's like reaching for the sun. They're already there. They already possess the entire market. How are you going to compete with those big actors? How are you going to fight with a competitor that's been trained their whole life? What do you have that would make a difference that they haven't had during all those years? And it really feels like you've missed the train and you're not capable. You're not capable to reach that level. It's too far. It would require too much time. That's the first belief, that when you see someone with such high achieving success, with such beautiful appearance, or with such developed skills, like a musician, let's say, you really like music but don't know a lot about it, it all seems so complicated and it all seems out of reach. The good news is that we are all capable of reaching the same levels, and actually seeing other people do it is a sign that humans can do it. And I agree with you that some people have facilities, have bodies, have minds that make them in a position that facilitates certain skills and capacities. But with dedication and effort, we are capable of truly anything. The second belief is that whether we want it or when we already have it, we feel this negative feeling because we don't deserve it. We feel inferior to others that we envy or that we are jealous of. It is a deflated ego, this feeling that we are not worth it. We are not on the same scale as these other people. Or sometimes envy could also be fed by an inflated ego, meaning that we deserve better than these people, but how can they succeed more than we do since we deserve better? And there's this dissonance. They should not deserve what they have. And either way, whether it's us feeling undeserving or us feeling that others do not deserve, there is a wrong focus on the ego, on the fact that we are our character, our mind, that our body is competing with others, and that we are on a scale above or below. Because of this scale, the world owes us something, or on the contrary, should take away from us. When in reality, it is only us that build these barriers. It is only us who decide whether or not we are deserving of something. And the reason for that is that our ego is just a facade, a costume, or clothes that we wear to go about this world. What we are deep down in our essence is light, is power. And if we care to find this and to reconnect with that essence, we understand that there is no point in placing other people below or above. And also, there is no point in thinking that it's a matter of deserving. The true ones who deserve something are those that put the effort, dedication, and their heart, and it will come to those. The second part is about them. What do they have that creates this feeling? Well, first, there are people who absolutely deserve what they have, meaning they have great qualities, and for that reason they seem to have success in their career and relationships. And we want those qualities, we want those relationships, we want the success, and that creates the envy. But our vision is too narrow, because the reality is that there are so many people with great qualities. There are so many athletes on this planet. There are so many good singers, for example. There is this tendency to idolize just a couple of individuals as being the pick of the pick in the art, but the reality is that so many people are blessed with a beautiful voice, and just because they're not famous doesn't mean they aren't. It's the same with other things you may envy. Someone being funny, someone being kind, someone being pretty. I already mentioned that being pretty is a skill in my previous episodes. What I want to say with this is that we tend to have a rarity mindset about things that we envy, seeing them as rare, unique, and unreachable, unrepeatable, when the reality is that they are abundant. We can all be funny and pretty, and we can all be sporty to some extent, and of course some people may become better at certain things because they dedicate more time to it, and they may have natural capabilities that help them being even better. The reality is that opportunities are everywhere and are abundant, so we must first shift our mindset towards abundance. And we also must realize that anything can be learned, even beauty, as I mentioned earlier, because true success in anything and true greatness is a matter of time and dedication. And for that reason, you can have your share in wherever you think is important. And that's another good thing about this feeling, is that it pinpoints you what is really important for you, what you really care for. Because let's be honest, there are so many great people that you are not envying. For example, you might see a really good cook in a restaurant and you're just happy to enjoy their meal. Usually we envy only specific features or specific skills that really reflects our needs and pinpoints what we want deep down. And as a consequence, what we should work on in a certain way. It helps us direct our energy because we are focused on something that seems important to us. If something triggers us, that means there's something for us to do there. And instead of just feeding this feeling of envy and jealousy, we should acknowledge what triggers it and start developing it. Because everything that you see in this word was built by someone else. They have put work on building it, and they wanted to work on this specific thing with the limited time that they had in this life. And this is what made them great, and this is what may make you envy this specific thing about them. Now, there is another side to the story, which is that there are lots of undeserving people that are acclaimed for nothing and that are usually in the position that they are thanks to their network because of a specific agenda that is pushed forward. And so you might feel that you are stolen opportunities by these people that objectively seem less skilled, less deserving. And the feeling of envy is more that of injustice, of unfairness. Here is more difficult because injustice is the state of the word, because it entirely operates based off people's ego, which is massively flawed, and therefore seeing those people, it is very easy to be jealous. I'm thinking of, for example, very famous musicians who don't seem to know how to write any good lyrics, nor how to compose any good music, or even how to sing. And when you're really into music, you think, how can they be there when there are so many talented people that are unknown? And faced with this state of the word, you can really only choose between despair and resentment and continuing your life criticizing those people. Or you can choose to fight and change, meaning to work to be a model of good, of light, of talent, of effort, of dedication. And remember that fakeness is paid at some point, because you always get what you give. You often see these people have personal issues, or the celebrities have a downfall, for example, because the true corrupted self shows at some point. And this also leads me to a third thought about them. About the people that we envy, is that a lot of the resentment that we can feel is also often based on projections of our own desires that seem to be fulfilled by those people. But doing this, we don't actually know the details of their lives. And the reality is that oftentimes they can be very miserable, especially when they're faking their success and their happiness. Or even when they are good people that have put efforts into their skill and their craft, often forget that their situation wouldn't fit our needs. I'll take a random example of seeing another woman's charming partner partner, when you look at them, you see a special connection between them. We crave their connection, we even crave their story. But the reality is that it wouldn't be the actual man with his flaws and qualities. It would be the entire dynamic that we want for ourselves, because it is likely that this particular man fits for them, but not for us. And that's another sign that this feeling of craving only pinpoints what we are looking for in life. It shouldn't just be a safe place to just sit and complain. It should only be taken as an eye-opener. And when you see it that way, it's much more easier to applaud others' success and to enjoy their happiness, because you know that it fits them, and you also know there's something that fits you somewhere. Only needs some time, some dedication, and some effort to find it. And you see that from studying where this feeling of envy and jealousy comes from. We also find the answers to how to get rid of it, or more accurately, how to make it work for ourselves and how to make good use of it. The first lesson is to learn from this feeling, because it pinpoints what do you desire. And actually, it might also pinpoint that you are desiring the wrong thing. For example, when you are looking at social media and influencers and their lives that seem so luxurious and you envy this thing, you are probably looking at things that you don't really want and don't really need. It's only the idea of being admired and applauded that appeals to you. And it might also pinpoint some work that you need to do on yourself, such as building confidence so that you don't have this need to be applauded, building an interest, building a skill other than just procrastinating and looking at others people's lives, building relationships around you rather than fantasizing on virtual relationships. This can all be revealed by these negative feelings only if you are ready to learn from them. The second lesson that we've learned is that we need to change our mindset. There is a spot for our specific needs in this world, and there are abundant opportunities for everyone. It is just a matter of time and effort to find what those needs are for you and what those opportunities should look like. And they are very likely not going to be the same as what you crave for. The third lesson, and it's quite an important one, is to shut the ego. Shut the ego means to be vulnerable, to admit that you are flawed, but that on this subject we are all on the same page. We all are weak and flawed, but we also all have light in us and strength that we can build, that we can grow, and that we can use. And it is your time to put away your ego by first knowing that you can grow, you can learn, and by starting doing it. As simple as that. And the fourth lesson, which should probably actually be your first step, is to focus on your life, to remove others' influence, to remove content that triggers those negative feelings, especially if you spend a lot of time on social media. You become what you consume. So remove content creators that only trigger negative feelings without adding to it, and focus on building yourself skills, as for example becoming funnier, smarter, prettier, but also develop interests, because the reality is that you will bond with others based on your abilities and skills, but also on your interests. And if all that you care for is what others are doing, there is nothing you can add to the table. So focus on your life by taking those actions, but also by being grateful for what you already have. Practicing gratitude, I've already talked about it in my previous episodes. I've even done a bonus episode dedicated to that because this is how important it is. Gratitude should be the foundation of your life, as it will change your entire mindset, your entire life in such a short time. And it's the easiest practice to integrate in your life. But it's a conscious practice. It's something that must be done willingly. And that's where the power lies. Envy and jealousy are quite hard to handle because we live in a world with limited resources, and that's why it feels that everything that we want is rare and requires a competition that we often feel has already been lost on our side, that we have already missed the train. But this is forgetting that we are divine, and this part of us is infinite and is abundant, and that the real shift between envying and thriving in life is the focus between our material world, our body, our limited resources in this physical world, and thinking that our life is determined by this world, towards a new mindset of knowing that our essence is light, is powerful, and that this essence defines our life. It will truly shift your entire life, and it will make you cross the river from envying, being pitiful, criticizing, towards being a part of the creation, being inspired by others and inspiring others. And to help you on this journey, I think it's only right we talk about healing next time. See you there.
Remember, there is enough space for all the stars to shine.